Are you struggling to come up with original content week in and week out? Start a podcast. Interview your ideal clients, let them talk about what they care about most, and never run out of content ideas again. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to B2B Growth, a daily podcast for B2B leaders. We've interviewed names you've probably heard before, like Gary Vaynerchuk and Simon Sinek, but you've probably never heard from the majority of our guests. That's because the bulk of our interviews aren't with professional speakers and authors. Most of our guests are in the trenches leading sales and marketing teams. They're implementing strategy. They're experimenting with tactics. They're building the fastest growing B2B companies in the world. My name is James Carberry. I'm the founder of Sweetfish Media, a podcast agency for B2B brands, and I'm also one of the co-hosts of this show. When we're not interviewing sales and marketing leaders, you'll hear stories from behind the scenes of our own business. We'll share the ups and downs of our journey as we attempt to take over the world. Just kidding. Well, maybe. Let's get into the show. Welcome back to B2B Growth. I'm Logan Lyles with Sweetfish Media. I'm joined today by Rambod Yadegar. He is the president and co-founder over at HawkSEM. Rambod, how you doing today, man?
Fantastic, Logan. It's a pleasure to be here. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, man. We're recording this on Halloween, getting ready for the kids going out for trick-or-treating. So I hope everybody listening to this had a good Halloween by the time you listen to it. More importantly, today, we're going to be talking about 5 PPC fails and maybe a bonus one for SEO as well. You guys over at HawkSEM know what you're doing in this space. So I would love for you to share with listeners who don't know you guys a little bit about yourself, what you guys have been up to before we jump into these 5 PPC pitfalls today.
Of course, yeah, it would be my pleasure. So a bit about me. I started my career as a financial advisor. The reason I got into that space was because I have a large passion and a huge passion for identifying winning patterns that generate predictable revenue streams. And that same passion brought me to the digital marketing space. And in 2006, my brother Sam and I, we started HawkSEM, which is a full-service digital marketing agency that focuses on generating ROI and results for our clients. Our main goal is to make sure our clients are smiling all day long. We've worked with a lot of industries across various spaces. We have a very strong digital footprint in the B2B space as well. And we cover everything from paid search on Google. We do a lot of SEO work. We do a lot of social media work on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, to name a few. And we do a lot of conversion rate optimization work as well, where we are focused on designing and creating landing pages to ensure that ROI is there. We actually use a smart way of marketing that we've coined our conversion IQ system, which basically ensures we are optimizing our client accounts based on revenue and not just a vanity metric like driving traffic to a website.
I gotcha. Well, tracking, it actually leads us right into our first point I think you wanted to touch on, Rambod. So we're going to be talking again about 5 PPC fails that you guys see all the time and how to address them. So let's tee up that first one I know you wanted to talk about, which is broken tracking.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is a pretty big one that we've seen a lot of companies are suffering from. Broken tracking is huge. I would say about over 70% of the accounts that we've audited have some type of broken tracking associated with it. And with broken tracking, there's a few attributes that are associated with it. First and foremost, there are some companies that don't even have tracking in place whatsoever. So it's nearly impossible for them to actually track and measure their ROI on their marketing spend. Secondly, we've noticed a ton of companies are doing double tracking. So they're double counting conversions. And obviously what that does is overinflates your ROI figures. So when it comes time for monthly reports, it looks great on paper. You guys have a lot of ROI on paper. However, when you look at it in the real world, the revenue doesn't match up to that.
Right.
And then lastly, we've seen a lot of companies that give the same weight to all conversions. We've learned that not all conversions are equal. You might have a hard conversion and a soft conversion. We've seen companies are giving equal weight to that, where in reality, you should be giving proper weight to proper conversions because some conversions are hard conversions and some are soft conversions. Some you have conversions from people that are bottom of funnel and ready to purchase. Obviously, those are more weight should be given to those versus a soft conversion that might be someone coming on and downloading a white paper, and you want to give less weight to those.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So you broke down three different problems there within broken tracking. The first one seems pretty easy to solve. If you're not tracking, just start. Okay, get somewhere. But then the others, I imagine, are pretty common. That double tracking and not waiting. So, what are some ideas for folks that they can walk away from this and think about implementing if they've got that broken tracking problem with their PPC campaigns?
Absolutely, yeah. So you want to make sure you have an expert team, whether it be an agency you hire, an in-house team, or maybe even you're doing it yourself. You want to make sure you have the technical expertise to go through the entire website, implement tracking pixels in the proper places, and make sure these tracking pixels are firing accordingly. And then you also want to clearly identify between your hard and soft conversions. For example, I'll use SaaS as an example here.
Yeah.
We have a lot of SaaS clients that we work with, and they consider a hard conversion someone coming onto their site and requesting a demo.
Yeah.
A soft conversion might be someone going onto their site and downloading a white paper. You want to make sure you have specific buckets here. Your tracking is in line with this, and you can clearly see at the end of each month how many hard conversions did we get, what was our cost for that, what was our return, and how many soft conversions we got that we have to basically put on a drip campaign and follow up with.
Yeah, makes total sense. Awesome. So let's talk about number two. The other fail that you wanted to talk about, Rambod, is failing to look at the entire journey, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we coined this failing to close. In other words, failing to focus on the entire customer journey. So we've seen from our audits, from speaking to people in the space, that not enough attention is being paid to the landing pages, to the customer behavior, as well as conversion rate optimization. Again, in other words, companies are not focusing on the entire customer journey and are just focusing on one aspect of it, for example, being driving traffic to the website and then really stopping their strategy there.
Right.
Nowadays, Logan, you have anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds to gain the user's attention. If you fail to do so, it's very easy for them to just X out the site, go back to a Google search and start over again.
Yeah. Awesome. So what are some of your recommendations to avoid that fail? Is it looking at your landing page and looking at some common things there that usually can be optimized pretty easily?
Absolutely. So you want to make sure, first and foremost, you have a one-to-one relationship throughout every single touch point of the user journey. So from the initial search term to the ad copy that's being shown to the landing page, you want to make sure all of that has a one-to-one relationship. You want to make sure all of your campaigns have targeted landing pages that speak directly to the search term. And you also want to make sure that the landing pages you're showing really speak to the pain points of the customers that are coming onto your website. So in other words, you want to be as specific as possible, put the customer first, have the landing page really educate them, hold their hand, and walk them through that journey of converting.
Yeah, I hear a lot of teams talking about putting the customer first and customer centric. And, it's a nice term, but I think you broke it down very tactically there in making sure that everything is one-to-one. It takes more time to customize that copy, to customize that landing page in each case, but it's definitely well worth it. Number three, the third fail you wanted to share with us today, Rambod, is not focusing on money keywords. First, tell us what you mean by money keywords, and then tell us about the pitfall here and possible solution, man.
Absolutely, yeah. So money keywords, that's another term we coined here just to have some fun with it. But it really means exactly what it sounds like, right? Money keywords, the keywords that are generating money for your company or ROI or revenue, whatever keyword you want to use there. So there are a few attributes that go into making sure you are optimizing for your money keywords. And we've seen a lot of companies are not doing this. One being actually taking time to score the leads that are coming in so you could really identify the quality. And number two, companies are not adjusting their marketing campaigns based on the quality, based on the lead score, based on the revenue, and ultimately based on the lifetime value that these leads are generating for them.
Yeah, it makes total sense, man. So what are some of your common recommendations there to avoid those common problems?
Absolutely. So going back to our first fail, tracking, you want to make sure proper tracking is in place so you could really understand which keywords are generating leads for you and at what cost. Number two, and this is probably the most important part of this, Logan, is that you want to make sure your team has an open relationship between your sales and marketing divisions. Because obviously, marketing are the people that generate the leads, and the sales team are the people that close the business. So you want to have an open relationship and communication lines being wide open there. So sales could go back to marketing and say, hey, we got this many leads. These were the great ones. These are the ones that turn into revenue for us. We want more of that. And then marketing could go look at the user flow. And if you have tracking implemented properly, you could understand how we generated those leads so we could reallocate funds towards the winning patterns that, again, generate that predictable revenue.
Yeah, as they say, usually in bad terms, follow the money. In this case, in a good way, follow the money.
Exactly.
I love what you're advocating for there. So Rambod, number 4 of the 5 PPC fails that you're going to share with us is not utilizing segmented remarketing. Seems like this kind of goes off of what we were talking about before, is just not taking the time to make it one-to-one, making your follow-up just vanilla and generic, no matter where they came from, what their lead score is, what their fit is. I imagine you guys are running into this a lot, and it seems like there might be a pretty easy solution to this, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So we've seen a lot of companies that are actually using remarketing, but are doing it in a very general sense. Basically, anyone that has visited their site before, they're sending them the same remarketing ad that's driving them to the same general landing page, which is usually their homepage. So what you want to do here is make sure you have specific remarketing campaigns, Logan, that are based on the user's initial search query. You want to make sure the remarketing campaigns are based on the user behavior. Again, going back to our previous points where some people might come on, convert right away. Some people might not convert. Some people might download a white paper. Some might sign up for a demo or whatever the case may be. You want to make sure you have segmented remarketing. So once you remarket to this audience, you're doing so in a way where the content is relevant to them. It speaks to their pain points, and then they're interested to walk down the rest of the funnel.
Yeah. Again, if we want people to take more action, then we've got to put some more effort into what we're doing. It seems like that's a common theme in a lot of these fixes that you're recommending, Rambod.
It's story time, and this growth story is about search engine marketing. Okay, so the story revolves around eSub, a project management SaaS company specifically for subcontractors. Even though eSub had incredible customer retention, they struggled with growth. Being a niche service, they discovered that there was little demand expressed for their solutions within search engines. To take on this challenge, eSub hired Directive Consulting, the B2B search marketing agency. After refining targeting, pre-qualifying clicks within ad copy, and developing custom landing pages, Directive was able to increase eSub's marketing qualified leads by 71%, while decreasing their cost per lead by 65%. I have a hunch that Directive can get these kind of results for you too. So head over to directiveconsulting.com and request a totally free custom proposal. That's directiveconsulting.com. All right, let's get back to this interview.
Let's talk about this last one, kind of in a similar vein. Your 5th PPC fail that you mentioned is relying on automation too much. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Of course, absolutely. So we've seen a lot of companies in our time that rely way too much on automated software to fully manage their marketing campaigns. So I love software. Tools are good, but they should be there to assist, because an automated software doesn't understand business model. It doesn't understand the ROI you need to achieve. It doesn't understand what the pain points are for your clients and your target audience and what the user behavior is. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing tools. However, you want to make sure that you have a human element behind everything that you're doing, because the humans understand business model, they understand client pain points, and how to really position the company to, again, strive, generate the traffic, and generate a conversion. Time in and time out, whenever you leave anything on autopilot and your competitors are having a strong marketing team with intelligence and a human element behind what they do, you're always going to lose to them. So the accounts that we audit that utilize automated software, they always have diminishing returns month over month and year over year.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it, man. So we've covered 5 different PPC fails: broken tracking, failing to close, as you guys put it, not focusing on the entire journey, not focusing on money keywords, not utilizing segmented remarketing and utilizing too much automation. There was a bonus fail you wanted to talk about when it comes to SEO. We've been talking a lot about SEM here today, but let's touch on SEO real quick on the power of backlinks, right?
Of course, absolutely, yeah. So what we've seen a lot of companies are suffering from is poor backlinks that are dragging down their site's reputation and their organic ranks. So first and foremost, what is a backlink? It's simply when one site links back to you.
Yep.
And the more links you have on other sites out there that are relevant to your industry and relevant to the products and or services that you all offer, the more weight Google will give you and the higher your organic rankings will be. So we've seen before the major updates, Google and Panda, Penguin and Panda that came out with Google a few years back, companies were going out there and let's say, we'll stay on the SaaS example, they may have sold a SaaS software and they go on a jewelry website, let's say, and they post their link. Google used to give credit for that and their organic rankings were high. However, after the Penguin and Panda update, Google kind of policed this much more closely. And nowadays, you want to make sure you have relevant content out there. You want to make sure you have relevant content that your user base will read. It's educational for them. You want to make sure you have organic outreach and you're going to sites out there to get a link that's, again, relevant to the products and services that you all offer. And then last but not least, Logan, you want to make sure you have a very skilled team that's an expert in SEO that could go inside your Google Search Console and disavow or basically remove any of the backlinks that are currently there that are hurting you.
So I think that's a really good point that a lot of folks are not thinking about, Rambod, is those backlinks that could actually be hurting them. I love the way you unpack these today, not only just sharing some common fails or pitfalls, but some solutions, some ideas to tackle those. So as listeners are hearing this episode and maybe thinking they've got some next steps to take, maybe they want to follow along with you guys and some of the content you're putting out, what's the best way for them to learn more about HawkSEM or reach out to you or just stay connected with you and your team, man?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm very easy to get a hold of. I have email attached to the hip all the time, so feel free to shoot me an email to my personal address. It's Rambod, R-A-M-B-O-D, @HawkSEM.com. And then we also have some more collateral if you guys want to, if your audience wants to look more into how PPC is broken and how to fix it. You could go to our website, HawkSEM.com/B2B growth.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll put a link in the show notes here for people, make it easy to go find that follow-up resource if they're digging this today and wanting to go a little bit deeper. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. This was a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Of course, Logan. It was my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
We totally get it. We publish a ton of content on this podcast, and it can be a lot to keep up with. That's why we've started the B2B Growth Big Three, a no-fluff email that boils down our 3 biggest takeaways from an entire week of episodes. Sign up today at sweetfishmedia.com/big3. That's sweetfishmedia.com/big3.